Hello everyone, this is Danish from jobskillshare.org. From our community, the Discord community, I am writing some articles in our channels, and this will help our Plus and Premium members on how to use our resources. But at the same time, this is going to be a message to any people, anyone who's following us, because it's going to be the same. So you could either use our resources or somebody else's resources. It doesn't matter as long as you know what you're doing. So in this video, I want to go over Microsoft Cert's channel. And if you're new to our Discord community, make sure you join. We have a lot of different friends right here, like FTech, Kuberman, IT Career, Zach, and some other channels too. So make sure you come and join us because we all offer a different type of information. So in our Microsoft Certs, we just added this new article on how do you start learning about Microsoft skills. Because if you're brand new, sometimes you just don't know where to focus. And when it comes to Microsoft, when people say, we're going to hire you as a help desk, we're going to hire you as an IT support, computer support technician, most of the time, 95% of the time, this is kind of the title for a Microsoft shop type of businesses. If they were to hire you for IT support for Linux, they're probably going to call you Linux engineer, Linux support, or something like that. Or on network side, they're probably going to call you either network engineer or NOC, something like that. So the question is that why it is important for you as a help desk to start learning on a operating system. Because in a business world, in a corporate world, we don't work on home versions of operating system, right? So it makes more sense for you to start learning what is being used in the companies, professional versions or enterprise, and is this a Windows as a service or not as a service? What is going on? Where is Microsoft going? Because you may be good right now, you may be landing a job with normal stuff, but as soon as you land the job, people are using cloud left and right now. These companies are on a hybrid setup right now, and soon we will see things different. Maybe there will be a company, they'll just go straight with the Windows as a service, and they'll cut down on many of the things that you thought was important, but it is important at this point. So let's just go ahead and read it out. So in this section, if you come to our Discord community, make sure you introduce yourself in the welcome intro. Just share your story with us, and then you have other chit chat areas. But here's the Microsoft Cert, and basically you're going to see descriptions like this where you're going to click on it and you're going to see some new stuff like experience of Windows 10 modern management. You see how people are starting to add that because they may think they may not need the skills that you knew for the basic stuff. They are looking for something new now. They're looking for something modern now. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not for the people who want to get into IT and now all of a sudden you have to learn something new. No, that's totally not. You still need to understand Windows 10 as a normal way, the way we teach, the way you have been learning on YouTube, anywhere. But my main goal over here is that I have Plus and Premium members, and I need to give them something for career development, and that is what we do. We not only help you to get a job, we want you to be a proper IT professional with less stress. The stress is going to be still there, but with us, at least you know somebody's looking after you and how you need to move on in this career. So if you come over here and you see something like this, now you're going to start seeing this. This is what I'm saying to people, that you're going to start seeing this because that's where Microsoft is moving. Microsoft is moving towards Windows as a service heavily. They're going to put everything on that side. And now when you used to have that Windows 10 that was totally managed by you, it's not going to be the same anymore. Just like cloud, you go to the cloud, you go to the Azure, you go to the Office 365, you only do the management piece of adding people, fixing and troubleshooting, but back-end stuff is with Microsoft. They are managing that stuff. So slowly we're moving towards that. So when you see a change like that, of course what happens after that, you get calls and you get tickets. So let's assume you started working in a company and you were prepared a traditional way. So let me open this image right now. The traditional way is basically Active Directory, group policy, and some other applications that maybe this company is using or not. So basically you have a company, they have, let's say, 200 users, and they were using a server. Inside that server, they have Active Directory running. And all of your machines were basically controlled by that Active Directory, and you were actually getting your skills on that Active Directory. So now the question is that you have to now think about it. What Microsoft is doing, Microsoft is actually moving away from this traditional method, and they're going into this hybrid method, which is hybrid, each set of devices managed with model that fits best. So basically what it is, this day at this 2020, we are actually using this method and this method on the right side together. But slowly, Microsoft is pushing people towards this right side, which is not going to be totally be done like very soon. I mean, this is why I tell people that you don't need to worry about it. This is not a worry video. This is about you to know the knowledge ahead of the time. So when you land a job and you start seeing something new, it doesn't confuse you or doesn't stress you out, because in one of the bigger thing in this platform is that we concentrate on stress more than anything else. So this is to, you are now aware, you're basically self-educating yourself right now. Now you're aware that, okay, there's something happening, so what should I do? As you can see, Active Directory is going to Azure Active Directory. This is not a replacement, by the way, on Active Directory. These are two different things. And group policy is now being managed by this Microsoft Intune, Azure Information Protection, Office 365, a combination of different things. They have so many different products, which at the end I'm going to show you how consultants are pushing companies to adapt this method on the right side, because that's where things are, that's where things are moving. So consultants who have a lot of experience, they're taking companies from traditional side to the hybrid side, and eventually it's going to become pretty much cloud in most of the cases, and that's going to be many years after that. But if you start today, if you start learning the traditional way today, you're going to get a job easily. But then you're going to need to know about the second side, which is on the right side. You're going to need to know that, because then you need to move up. You need to move on in your career, and you need to learn this stuff. Because I have many members, many students who went and started doing their job, and all of a sudden they basically told me that, hey, we didn't cover Azure Active Directory, and now I have to add a person in Azure Active Directory. Similarly, Office 365. So we added all this stuff in our training, and we have these trainings, but not on everything, by the way, because that's why we have different type of resources that you need to be using. Because those are certain areas are very large and very big. For any content creators, this is not something easy to just catch up with Microsoft. So we do things in a way that at least we tell you where to go and how to move on. So Microsoft does come with its own documentation. So let me pull that up right now, and that documentation is available right here with these questions. Make sure you guys go over that, and if you click on this documentation, that is where Microsoft is basically giving all this new information. And as you can see, we have a new version 2004, and Microsoft is actually moving to this version. It says get to know Windows as Service, and see, they're even educating you and telling you guys came to this page, but you really need to know about this stuff. So what is this Windows as a Service? You need to really get in there and kind of like go over this article and get to know this, because that is where Microsoft is going to move on. And maybe you should go over all these articles and try to understand what Microsoft is achieving from all this stuff, because all of this stuff practically comes back to your Azure environment. Now this is how it's going to look, and you're going to have like Intune like this. You see how it's on the web based. You have Intune, and then you have devices. You will come over here, and if you work in a company right now, if they're using the hybrid world, companies are moving towards Intune very fast paced. Okay, and similarly, they are moving towards Azure Active Directory and using all those great features of cloud like Azure Active Directory. And this is where I say that people are going to come and say, hey, I didn't learn this on a traditional method. I only knew how to add a user in Active Directory, but now I need to know this. So there's two things on this. You can either think, okay, let me get a job first, and they'll just teach me on the job because this was not something common. So that's the common understanding right now. But now think about this. You go to the interview and you have two people, and you both did pretty great, and you guys get to the final point. Now the other person is thinking like traditional person who say that, okay, I'm great, I know about Active Directory, behavior skill, exactly same points that you had. Now you talk in interview about Azure Active Directory. I know this stuff. I know Intune. I know what's going on. This is where I keep myself up to date. That's where you went above and beyond from the other person, because that other person totally thought that maybe I can just stick with the traditional learning and that is sufficient enough for me. Well, in this case, you will probably win because you definitely have an edge on that person. So this is just to tell people how can you learn smartly without taking too much stress. And there's nothing to stress about when you're in the Job Skills Share community, because this is what we do. We define things for you, we refine things for you, and we make a plan for you. You come over here, everything is planned out. There's nothing to stress about over here. You can ask somebody to just clear your pathway for you. So now the question is that in jobskillshare.org, as for Plus and Premium members, where can I go and actually start learning about Windows 10 new features? So the best thing you can do is to follow the documentation in the Discord community. Like I said, we have done this step by step. So we show you a screenshot, you click on the screenshot, you log into your partner portal, and we ask you to go to Windows, what's new in Windows 10. So make sure you basically go over that. And then we ask you to take this MD 100 course to get to understand about what's covered in this course, like as a whole Windows 10 operating system. You can see updating, networking. Those are going to be traditional stuff. Then we are asking you to, in the same portal, you should take the MD 101, and that's where you're going to see that Windows as service, and somebody's explaining that in a chapter. Then you have this device enrollment in Intune and in Azure, and then you have this Azure Active Directory identity management. Guys, this is what's happening now. Consultants are heavily moving companies towards this stuff, and you need to know this later on. If you don't want to do it, that's fine now, but later on you're going to come across this. Now, so some of you may come across, hey, well, I have a premium membership. Can I see this in my lab environment? Yes, in the lab environment, if you go to your practice lab, I'll show it to you quickly. If you go to your practice lab, you see you have a huge amount of access. So here you can come over here and take the MD 110 course practically. So you can open manage Windows devices, user migration, MDT. These are all some great skills right here, by the way. If you can go to the interview and talk about WDS and MDT, people are going to respect it. If you can talk about user migrations, people are going to respect that. If you click on it, you see all these machines are going to pop up right here, and you have a library access. This is a pretty cool access, so you should definitely use it with those courses that we have mentioned in Intune. And then on top of that, we are also giving you different courses that I think we should go about, like Windows updating systems. This is another course that you guys should go over and take it. So I think by finishing these 3 or 4 courses, to be honest, I feel like you will cover theory pretty good. You're going to have a very solid understanding about Windows 10 theoretically, because you have done that in the video courses, and they even show you demos and everything. And then when you come and do this practically, I feel like you don't need anything after that for Windows 10 learning. You should then follow Microsoft documentation to enhance your skills in future. So this is how you should start first to modernize your skills from traditional learning to modern Windows 10 learning. And then on top of this, once you understand this method, you enhance this and you move on to more advanced careers like sysadmin kind of stuff. This is going to be your starting, and when you learn this way, then the server learning becomes easier, and then this is how you kind of understand the whole flow, because you now are touching Azure, you're touching Intune, so you're already in the cloud. The cloud experience is already started for you. You can use this in the lab environment or the real world environment. You will still get a good understanding of this. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, please let us know.